Adam Ida's future. I believe he's away down to have a medical at Swansea. Is that correct?
You know that there's interest in Adam, but there's no one can leave here unless we get players in to replace. It's as simple as that. There's been negotiations and chat around it, but I have to have players in here before I can consider letting anyone go.
Hello again, folks, and a warm welcome back to the Celtic Forever podcast. I'm Xander. I've got John here to go through everything that's been happening over the last few days, which is quite a bit. Getting knocked out of the Champions League, UEFA League draw as well, Glasgow derby at the weekend, etc., etc. Signings, people leaving, all the rest of it. Let's bring in John. How are you, John?
I'm okay. Aye. How are you?
I'm okay, John. The big, obviously, disappointment was getting knocked out of the Champions League to Kairat Almaty in midweek. Yeah, it was a hard watch, wasn't it? It was a slog, hard watch. Penalties. The one thing we did say on the preview of that game was we did not want penalties and extra time in this one, and that's exactly what happened. So, we take our medicine, John. We move on. We will touch on the game a wee bit later on, but we just need to move on. And then we get put into the Europa League draw, and we couldn't have asked for a harder set of fixtures, could we?
Some good ties in there, isn't there? Some good teams. Feyenoord, we know all about them.
Yeah, we know all about Feyenoord, actually, John. We only played them in 2023 twice, didn't we? We got beat away and we beat them at Celtic Park in the last game, 2-1. But no, we know about Feyenoord, John. We also got Roma, very difficult tie. Braga, very difficult Portuguese team. Red Star, Belgrade, very difficult. That'll be away from home. Sturm Graz, that'll be at home. Michelin, that'll be away from home. Utrecht, that'll be at home. And we finish it off with a trip to Italy to play Bologna. Very tough teams, John, but not impossible to qualify from this one. I think we've got a good chance of qualifying. All being well, if we get the players in that we think we're going to get in, John, because obviously there's some rumours floating about today with the players. We'll touch on that in a wee minute. But John, I think it's a tough draw, but it's definitely one we can finish in that top 8.
Well, there's every chance, aye. Still need to strengthen for it though, Xander. We still need more players in, I think, even to qualify, participate in that competition. I still think we need some stronger players in there, especially a right back.
Yeah, especially a right back, John. And I think we're going into this Glasgow derby at the weekend on a sort of a weakened state, if you like, John. We'll go through all that in the preview. As I say, John, we'll go through the preview. There's a whole lot to go through, so I'll quickly run through the competitions to start with. Right, John, get that out the road just now. That's the correct score competition, the midweek correct score competition. Only one person got it right. That was Rosemary that got it right, so well done to her. Wasn't great that she got it right, was it? But she got it right, so fair play to her. She said nothing each 90 minutes and extra time and penalties. She was bang on, so she's on the board. Also 3 points with the top 6 there. They're the names on the screen if you have a look at that. John sitting there second, Rosanna at the top. So 3 points for Rosemary anyway. Congratulations to her. We'll do the predictor just at the end for the weekend, the Glasgow derby, etc. We'll do the predictor for that at the end. But get your guesses in just now, folks, for that. Rangers versus Celtic at Ibrox. Get your guesses in if you're one of the 25 that are in the league, because if you don't get your guess in, you'll miss out on a possible 3 points. So get it in for the big prize at the end of the season. Even if you're not in that big league table, get your guess in anyway, and we'll try and read it out in the next podcast. Predictor between us two, John, we didn't get any right in the midweek, but there was only the 4 games. And we'll do a predictor, as I say, in about 20 minutes. Right, John, let's get into some of the news then that's surrounding Celtic. And it's quite a lot. There's a lot going on just now, and there's a lot to get through. But we'll start with the signing of Balikwisha. We've been after this guy for about a year and a half. The left winger, stroke right winger, can play either side, but I think in the main he's a left winger. It's just good to get another player in the door, John.
I had a wee look at him. He looks okay. A lot of pace. That's what we're looking for on the flanks. A lot of pace. Celtic's been linked with him for a long time. We've been speaking about him for over a year, and eventually it's done and dusted. Think he'll start on Sunday?
I definitely think he'll start on Sunday, and we'll tell you why in a minute, John. Because Adam Ida, he is rumoured to be in talks with Swansea City for a fee of around £7 million. The big Celtic centre forward, John, looks as though he's possibly played his last game for Celtic. But obviously this is just rumour at this very moment in time, but it looks like a serious rumour. Swansea interested in signing the Celtic centre forward, John. £7 million. What do you think of that?
If you get £7 million from him, you need to take that and run, Xander. Sorry, Adam, but it's just not worked out for you at Celtic, pal. You don't want to be spending your career where the fans are on your back constantly. He's had these times, Xander, and it's not worked out this season, sadly, for Adam. And if you get offered £7 million for him, you've got to take it and run.
I think so.
Look, he might fit in somewhere else and do a fantastic job for Swansea. That's the thing, isn't it? Celtic are no for everybody.
Yeah, I saw some comments, people saying exactly that, John. He'll play a blinder down there. But good luck to him, as you say, if indeed he does leave, because he's still a Celtic player at this moment. But if we get £7 million for him, I think it's a good bit of business, considering the circumstances with the big man, as you say, John. Off for him, and in fact, off for him is an understatement for Big Adam at this moment. But good luck to him anyway, if indeed he does go. And coming in the door, John, and if we get this one over the line, it'd be an absolutely fantastic signing. I don't know how, realistic this rumour is, but Anderlecht centre forward as well, Kasper Dolberg, John. What a striker he is. I've saw him a few times, Dolberg. He's already scored 3 goals in 4 games this season, John, but unfortunately for Anderlecht, they got knocked out of Europe last night. So, he's looking for a club that's still in Europe, and Celtic are willing to pay between 8 and 10 million for Dolberg, John, the big centre forward. What I'm saying he would be, John, he is a prolific goal scorer. He is a Danish internationalist as well. If you get him over the line and Big Adam, we get the £7 million in the door for him, I think it would be a decent bit of business with Celtic.
Oh, too little, too late though, isn't it, for us? Talk about locking the stable door after the horse is bolted. But look, they'll do us a turn in Europe and no doubt strengthen the squad, both the players, but it's all too little too late for me, Xander. The Champions League was the big one, wasn't it? That prize money is gone. We just need to let it go, I suppose, but we always welcome quality players on board at Celtic, of course. I look forward to seeing him, and I'm sure he'll do us a turn in the Europa League, should he sign.
Yeah, should he sign, John? That's the key phrase here, isn't it? Should he sign? We're talking about rumours just now, but there is only a few days left in the transfer window, John. So these rumours, they've got to be real. We can't be afford to be talking about rumours that are just not real. This has got to happen, John. We've got to get this player in the door. We've already got Balikwisha in the door, and good luck to him as well. By the way, I've got to say that. Good luck to Balikwisha. He does look like a decent winger. All right, John, that's it as regards to players in at the moment, but I think there is going to be more. I think there's going to be a left back coming in as well. I think we spoke about that in the last podcast, but we'll leave that just now, John. We'll talk about the ones that are hitting the news just now. But we're hoping by the end of the transfer window come, I think it's Monday night, that we've got a possible 4 new signings in the door, John. That's what I'm looking for. As you say, another right back. The left back we're looking at, it's only a loan deal for him. Balikwisha and Dolberg, John. That would be the 4 players that I'd be looking for. Another 4 in the door, John. Would you be happy with that?
Aye, definitely. Aye. We do need the squad strengthened. Right back, we really need another right back in there. We're not going to get through these games with Anthony Ralston. I like Anthony Ralston. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but when you're playing in games like games against Rangers and all that, he gets exposed, Sander. He's no pace. He's absolutely no pace. And he'll get exposed against good teams. We need somebody equally as good as Alistair Johnston on that right-hand side. And Anthony Ralston, I'm sure he'll do as a turn in, games against maybe, lesser teams, maybe like Livingston and stuff. Or come on as substitute appearances when we're 2-0 up or whatever, that kind of thing.
Yeah, he suggested that last time out, John. He's a Scotland internationalist and he is a decent player, but I think we do need strength over there at the right back position. And young Donovan, he came on the other night as well, didn't he? Done okay. He actually set up a brilliant chance, an absolutely brilliant chance for Nigel. But we'll get into that, John, a wee bit later. So I've got a couple of options there as it stands, but we do need that top quality in the door. But there hasn't been any links to any right backs, John. That's the worrying thing at the moment.
Well, it is worrying, but I was also reading something about Inamura possibly getting loaned out. Now, that's a mistake if that's the case. Because I think you could try Inamura over on the right-hand side, see how he does there. Because he's a quality player. You can see that boy's quality. And if there's any truth in that rumour about lending him out, I think that's a bad move in Celtic's part. They did that way at Water as well. And then eventually sold him. Bad move.
Well, I've not saw any rumours regarding Inamura. If that's the case, John, then that is a bad move because he's decent. He really is a decent left back. He's a quality left back, actually. And if Kieran needs his usual after 60 minutes rest, then there's no better player to step in than Inamura, who can find day passes, who can defend as well, John. No, that'd be a bad move if that rumour is true, John. But we'll wait and see if that's the case. Right, Glasgow Derby on Sunday. Both teams are in a sort of a bad place, if you like. I don't think... Obviously, Rangers are in a very bad place after the 9-1 mauling to Club Bruges in midweek, John. An absolute mauling for them. But Celtic are in a great place either after getting beat by... I don't know if you can call them minnows or not, John, but Kairat Almaty. So, as I say, both teams are in a bad place, if you like, when it comes to... when it comes to, being prepared for this game, John, because the preparation for both teams is very poor. I mean, a 9-1 drubbing for Rangers and Celtic getting knocked out of the Champions League with any team is not the preparation you're looking for, is it?
It's certainly not, no. And no, I don't think Kairat Almaty are a very good team, by the way. I'll say that first and foremost, and well done to them for getting through it. I thought they were a solid wee team, and overall probably deserved to get through. But no, you're right. For both teams, there isn't any great preparation there. Both teams will be in a bit of a downer, so it makes for an interesting game. Yeah, confidence very low. And by the way, I think that the tie between Kairat Almaty and Club Bruges will be very interesting, John. That's going to be an interesting one, because they play each other in the Champions League. So we'll keep an eye on that one. I'm looking forward to seeing how that one pans out. But I think Celtic against Club Bruges would have been even more interesting, John. What do you think? Bruges look decent. They look decent. But Celtic, the only thing that stopped Celtic beating Bruges last season was a Carter Vickers' own goal. So, on paper, Bruges, they should be absolutely thumping Kairat Almaty, but so they're going to be tough for any team to break down Kairat. That's one battling outfit, that's under.
Yeah, that's it. And I put the video on with the Club Bruges highlights, actually, didn't I? Tens of thousands, if not a couple of 100,000 people have viewed that over on Facebook, John. And there was a few comments, Rangers supporters coming on, saying at least we got knocked out by a quality team. Well, Club Bruges had to play Champions League qualifiers, John. They can't be that much quality if they're having to play 2 qualifying rounds. So that tells you everything about Club Bruges as well. But they're a decent team, I suppose, as 9 goals against Rangers showed. Right, okay, John. Let's get back into the preview of the Glasgow Derby. Apart from Alloa, John, Rangers have not won a game this season. So domestically, that is, of course, Alloa were unlucky at Ibrox also, but 3 draws for Rangers in the league, and then they play Celtic at Ibrox. They've not won a game at Ibrox apart from Alloa, as I say. But John, you know what's going to happen here, don't you? They're going to get a result against Celtic. Hopefully, I am wrong, obviously, but that's exactly what happened last year. Everybody was taking points off Rangers, and then Celtic came to their stadium and they beat us, John. So we definitely don't want a repeat of that.
Well, it's no beyond possibility, that, is it? I mean, they're definitely going to raise their game.
Yeah, of course they're going to raise their game, John. That's what they do against Celtic. That's the main part of the season. It's playing Celtic. As last season showed, John, with their results against Celtic. But as I say, everybody's taking points off Rangers, St Mirren, Motherwell, Dundee, John, and then Celtic come to town, and we just hope that the same thing that happened last year doesn't happen this season. We're hoping that Celtic get their finger out, if you like, John, and put them to the sword, because they are in a very bad place, John. So no room for people feeling sorry for themselves at Celtic because we're going to out the Champions League, John. We just need to go out there and do a professional job. We'll run through the squad in a wee minute, John, because we are sort of we don't have the strongest squad at the moment available to us. We have possibly Adam Ida away to Swansea if he indeed does leave, so that's an option less, if you like. We've also got obviously Jota. He's out injured, and he's got long-term injury. Johnston has now long-term injury also. Big Trusty has picked up a calf strain, so he's also out of this one. We've got Carter Vickers, who is not on form at the moment by the looks of things. So we need to give ourselves a shake, John. That's what I'm trying to say.
Aye, more than that. The Celtic's been really poor. Against Kairat, they were really poor yet again. I knew Celtic weren't going to score after watching 10 minutes of that. I knew they weren't going to score. But they seem to be alright domestically. And like you say, Rangers have been dropping points against every team domestically. Motherwell, Dundee, St Mirren. But when it comes to Celtic, like I say, they're going to raise their game. This is a different thing altogether. This is a winner takes all. It's always treated like a one-off game, so anything's possible, Xander. I think it'll be a very tough game for Celtic.
Yeah, it will be a tough game. There's no denying that. Going to Ibrox for Celtic is always tough. And, no matter what the circumstances are, and they are in a pretty bad place. But, John, they're calling for the manager already. Mourinho has just left his club. They're calling for him to come in already. They're in a bad place over there. But, we're not in a great place ourselves just now. We're hoping these players do come in. The new left back, John, maybe hopefully a new right back, and the big striker Dolberg before Sunday, so we can fling him straight in. Because we need somebody that can put the ball in the net, John. That's the bottom line.
That's exactly what we've been missing, isn't it? Somebody that can put the ball in the net. Maida's not been putting the ball in the net. I think he scored one this season. Adam Ida done nothing. Johnny Kenny, I think he scored one this season. Goals are coming from midfield mainly. Defence. Well, it's a good thing that the Celtic have got goals all over the park, but the most important place that isn't getting the goals is the forward positions, and that's what you sign forward for, to stick the ball in the net, and we haven't got that. Yeah,
we've not got it at the moment. Shin Yamada, he's a wee battler. He'll try, he'll battle hard for you, he'll run. But he's just not settled into the club yet. And as you say, John Dyson hasn't came out of first gear yet this season either. So it will click eventually, but we just hope that it clicks in time for the Glasgow derby on Sunday. Let's get into the officials then, John. Don Robertson, he's the man in the middle, superb. Callum Scott, he's the man on the VAR with, I don't know if I'm reading this right or not, John, but Marco Di Bello, I think he's on the VAR with Callum Scott. I don't know if I've ever heard of Marco Di Bello doing a game in Scotland, John. He must be a new official in Scotland. So good luck to him anyway, if that's the case. That's your officials, John. A wee quick look at the betting. I've got Rangers priced at 3-1 at home. I don't think I've ever seen that before. But anyway, they're 3-1 to beat Celtic at home. Celtic are evens at Ibrox. Don't think I've ever seen that either. You know, even Rangers were the really worst. You know, Rangers were never 3-1 at home, and the draw is also 3-1. So, you know something, John? I've got a wee feeling it could be a draw, this one. We'll give our predictions a wee bit later on. But, you know, Brendan may put out a team that surprises us all, John, and we put them to the sword, and that's what every Celtic supporter is looking for.
Well, it depends whose head's down the furthest in it, because both teams shocking results in midweek. I think it just depends. Again, it's who's the hungriest, who wants it the most, whose heads is down the most. If you look at it on paper, and like I say, the games are not written on paper, I'm not going to say it again because I think I jinxed that the last time, but you'd think Celtic were slight favourites in this one, slight favourites, but Rangers have got a lot of decent players as well, so although that didn't show in midweek against Bruges, so it's a tricky one to predict this one, Xander.
Yeah, the wee winger is a Gassam, the wee boy that plays on the right wing. The left wing, he looks decent, didn't he? So Ralston's going to have a time of it up against him, John. So yeah, I think you're right. They do have decent players, but you know we've got decent players also, and that's why we're favourites, John. But you know, I think, excuse me, I've got a wee bit of cough today. I think it's going to be a very, very tough slog for us. I mean, definitely don't want to see any of these bottles and missiles and all this nonsense that normally goes on at Ibrox, John. That has to stop, John. We don't want to see it. We don't want to see our players, our staff, anything like that, getting fans, etc., John, getting injured by missiles thrown by the Rangers fans.
I guarantee you right now, after that game, we will be talking about an incident involving missiles on the park. Guaranteed. Yeah,
more than likely, John. Yeah, unfortunately, that's always the case, isn't it? Whether Rangers are winning, Rangers are losing, there's always an incident with missiles, John, and it's very, very sad that that's happened in the Scottish game. It really is, and the SFA are doing absolutely not a thing about it. But John, we don't want to be talking about that. Hopefully there isn't any incidents, because it's the last thing we want to see is blood pouring from Celtic players' heads, etc. John, we just don't want to see it. Right, John, let's get into the team then. You said a wee minute ago some heads will be down. You know, it's Brendan Rodgers' job to make sure that none of these players' heads are down. I know it's tough to pick the starting lineup because we don't know if Balawisha's going to start. We don't know if Big Dolberg is going to be signing for us either. We don't know if Adam Ida's even going to be in the door. So what we'll do is we'll give our prediction as the players we've got just now. So we'll include Adam Ida. We'll not include Dolberg as it stands, John. This is as the time of recording. What do you think, buddy? What's your starting 11?
I was looking at the Rangers team and I was wondering why Raskin never started and Tavernier never started. I think that weakened them a lot, but I think that will change for them this weekend. But anyway, I don't know what you think. Do you think that's they were rested for this game?
Yeah, definitely rested them for the Celtic game because they're already out of Europe, John. They sort of knew that. They were going over there to play for Pride and they didn't get that either. But yeah, they rested Raskin, they rested Tavernier, all the usual candidates. Who's the other one? Diamond as well, John. They rested him first of the Celtic game. So every one of them will be starting.
Anyway, I agree with you there. Anyway, it's going to be Kasper Schmeichel, although I still think Sinisalo should be the man in the goals for me. But Kasper Schmeichel, Vickers, Scales, Tony Ralston and Kieran Tierney. Centre of the park, McGregor, Hatate and Nygren. Up front, Dyson on the left. Right now we have to go to a striker. This is tricky, by the way. We don't have a striker right now. But with Balawisha signing, he's going to be on the right, definitely. I think he's a left-hand sided player, isn't he? Yeah, John, he's left. So it could be him on the left, Dyson through the middle, and James Forrest on the left. The right.
Yeah, that's it. That's it for me, John. That's exactly the team for me. Like you said, exactly the team. I'll quickly run through it again, John, what you said there. it's 100% that's going to be the team. If it's any different, then it's going to be a struggle because Big Adam Weither's head is all over the place. So, as you say, John, it's going to be Casper in goals, Ralston with Carter Vickers, Liam Scales and Kieran Tierney with Callum McGregor in the middle. Rio Hitati, as you says, Nygren in place of Arnie Engels as well. And by the way, that's another story into Arnie Engels. But anyway, we'll talk about him in a wee minute. And then I think it's going to be Ballockwisher on the left with Dyson and Forrest, John, exactly like you say, because it's a baptism of fire for Ballockwisher. We hope he can handle the pressure. Obviously, he's a professional player. He's a top professional player, John, so we're hoping he can handle that atmosphere at Ibrox. Play a blinder, we get the 3 points and we move on. Because if we go 9 points clear of the Rangers, John, I think it's going to be very difficult for them to turn around a 9 point deficit.
Oh, it's just bordering on the impossible. But it's not impossible, but bordering on it. When you look at the two teams' domestic form. But this is a hard game, a very hard game to call. And Ballockwisher, like you say, I think for him it's going to be I don't think he's probably ever played in an atmosphere like a Glasgow derby match. It's a big test for your first game into it, Xander, coming in your debut in Glasgow derby. It's a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Although many have shined in that derby for their debut.
Of course, they have quite a few, Gravison, etc. John Oles, Sean, and the debuts for many more. But you look at Brendan, he's been after Ballockwisher for over a year now, John. He's not going to put him on the bench. Well, I don't think he's going to put him on the bench. You never know. It depends on his fitness, etc. But, he has been playing football, so he's fully fit. But he may go with Yang, John, at Ibrox. I hope to God that he doesn't start with Yang and he does start with Ballockwisher. Nothing against Yang. I just think he would collapse in that atmosphere playing from the start. The young man, he's a decent young player, but when he normally plays from the start, John, he doesn't give the same performance as he does when he comes off the bench. No, I think Yang needs to knock all that nonsense out of his games and all that try to be skillful and back heels and all that, because he can't do it. It never comes off. He's got to knock it in the head and be direct. And you've got a crack wee player. I've said it 100 times about Yang. I think he was terrible against Kyrat. Because he keeps trying these stupid skills like a wee 5-year-old boy would do. You've got to grow up, stop trying to be fancy, be direct, and I think you've got a half-decent player in Yang, but I don't think he's going to start in the derby, no chance. No, I don't think he'll start it in the derby, but we could be wrong, John. We've been wrong plenty of times before. We're only guessing at this point, aren't we, who's going to start this game. But I think your initial starting lineup prediction there is bang on. I think that's who exactly Brendan is going to start in this one. Right, John, what else can we really talk about in this one? Obviously, I'm going to need a prediction off you, a score prediction for the predictor. We'll get into the predictor in a wee minute. But, John, it's the mood and the atmosphere surrounding, well, I don't know about them over the water, but it's Celtic, going by comments and comment sections for videos that we have put on the channel. There is a lot of unrest amongst the supporters, isn't there? Look, it's to be expected, isn't it? It's hardly surprising getting knocked out of the Champions League by Kyrat Almighty. It's to be expected, isn't it? A lot of unrest among the fans. The board never spent the money. A lot of people see it as the board being correct. Not a lot of people, but some people. Not giving Brendan the money because of the players that he signed. Wasted 26 million quid on, if you like. Guys like Ida, Engels and Austin Trusty. And I'll say it again, I think Austin Trusty was starting to look good there at the start of the season. Sadly, he's injured now. But the other two, big waste of money, and some see that as the reason why the board never splashed the cash out for Brendan. Yeah, there's a couple of supporters on the Ballockwisher video I put on last night. A couple of Celtic supporters having the right old ding dong between each other. If anybody wants to go in and read that, I've left it on because it's quite interesting have a wee look at that. You know, there's what an argument that is between the two lads. Anyway, John, we'll move on. Let's move on. Let's get a prediction off you, buddy. Celtic over to Ibrox to play Rangers on Sunday afternoon. John, what do you think? What's your thoughts at this point anyway? I know it could change with the signing of a couple more players, but what are you thinking at this point, buddy?
Well, I'm not confident, put it that way. This is two teams in a really bad place. Both teams in a really bad place. Rangers haven't won domestically. They've just been absolutely annihilated by Bruges, or Brugge, who they're starting to call them. When did they start getting called Brugge?
I don't know, Zeebrugge?
I really don't know, because all my life I've always been known as Bruges by everybody. You know, your sports pundits included, team managers or whatever. Everybody's called them Bruges, but suddenly they're now being called Brugge. I don't know where that's came from, by the way. But anyway, looking at both.
And sorry, John, and they took their foot off the gas, didn't they? Our Rangers are actually quite lucky. They're actually very lucky. They got a lucky draw in the Europa League after getting pumped out the Champions League like that. They were lucky there, and then they were lucky that Bruges. Actually, I mean, they changed the full team with the subs in the second half to rest their players for whatever game they've got at the weekend, John. That could easily have been well into double figures, that game.
Oh, goodness, aye. Easily, Xander. I mean, how many fantastic saves did Butland have to pull off to stop them hitting the bar, hitting the post, save after save after save, squandered chances. The second half was just, it was a warm down for Brugge. But it was just a warm down, wasn't it? They were just walking about, just take it easy. If we get a goal at it, we'll take it. But nobody in that Brugge team was... They weren't even trying, Xander. They were just walking about, warming down, enjoying the game, enjoying passing it about the slick pitch. Well, Rangers were running a bit like headless chickens. But that game could have been 15-0 if they wanted it, Xander.
Of course it could have, John. And it's quite annoying, actually, that's the case, because if that's a PSG or a Barcelona against Celtic, John, they don't stop to the 90th minute. So that was very disappointing, to be fair, because you want them to be in a lowest possible place coming to face Celtic, John. What was the other thing I was going to say? That the extra time, John, the extra 30 minutes, all that travelling back from Kazakhstan, the players look dead in their feet. All this is going to take its toll as well, isn't it?
It certainly is. It's never an easy thing to do. I'm sure the players get back from Kazakhstan on Wednesday, I think. They've had an extra day's rest ahead of Rangers, but they were only in Belgium, so that's, it's obviously not as big a travel. But the Celtic players will still be tired, seething heat out there as well. And not even a rest for the players, which I never understood. To be honest with you, the Celtic players look fitter than the Kairat players, but that's by the by. I don't know what we're talking about here, by the way, but I just get lost in a few different things thinking about that.
Yeah, you think back, don't you, John? I was talking about the travelling and how it's going to affect Celtic on Sunday, and the Rangers also didn't have that extra half hour, extra time as well, and then the disappointment of penalties. So, they knew their fate before they even kicked a ball the other night there, so that's the difference, I suppose. Right, John, prediction then. Let's get back to the predictor then. The predictor for this weekend, we'll start that right now. Starting with Celtic going to Ibrox to play Rangers. What are you thinking, buddy?
I think it's a case of both teams in a really, really bad place right now. I don't know who's the worst. I don't mean who's the worst team, I mean who's in the worst place.
Yeah.
Mentally, it's an away game for Celtic. That could go against us, of course. A lot of noise at Ibrox always is. But Rangers in absolutely dismal form. But we've seen that last season and they managed to turn us over. So I'm going to go for a Desmond in this one, Sander. I'm going for a 2-2.
And I'm going for a 2-1 to the champions, John. Fingers crossed with any luck. I was going to go 3-1, all depending on the signing of the striker. So, but that's not over the line yet. So I'm going to go the 2-1 to the champions. Hopefully, guys.
Well, hopefully you're right, Xander. I'll take that. That'd be lovely.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Okay, John, let's get into the predictor then. Good luck to the champions at Ibrox on Sunday. Okay, the big predictor I've got it wrote down here. First game up for us, John, is Livingston versus Hearts at Livingston. John, what do you think?
Do you know, I thought Hearts were in Europa League or the Conference League this year. They're no. They finished 7th in the league last season. 7th.
Yeah, that's
For
it.
some reason, I was getting them confused with somebody else because I thought they finished 3rd, but that shows you how much I know.
Yeah, well, they're beginning to slip in form as well, John, aren't they? They're beginning to drop points as well and lose cup games, etc., John. So they're beginning to lose a wee bit of form, but still a decent team. Hearts, but they're away to Livingston. What do you think, buddy?
They're a decent team. I'm going to go for a draw in this one as well. I'm going to go for a 1-1 in this one.
Okay, I'll go 2-0 to the Jambos. Motherwell against Kilmarnock, Fir Park.
3-1. No, aye. Motherwell, they're actually hitting the net quite a lot, but losing points still. I'm going to go for 3-1 Motherwell.
Fair play, John. I'll say 2-0 to Motherwell. Brilliant watch. We've got Ayr against Queen's Park, the famous Queen's Park, the conquerors of Ibrox. What do you think, John?
1-0 Ayr United.
3-1 Ayr United. And sorry, we're going to Lenny Watch as well. Lenny Watch. Lenny Watch Dunfermline against Ross County. That'd be a tough one for Lenny, wouldn't it? Ross County going to East End Park. John, what do you think?
I draw on that. One's under 1 each.
And I'll say 2-1 to Ross County in that one. Good luck, Lenny. Good luck, Bruni. Moving on to Sunday, John, we've got Dundee Derby. Dundee against Dundee United. That'll be a good game to watch, actually. Hopefully we have a favourable result at Ibrox, then we can switch the telly on to watch Dundee against Dundee United. What do you think, buddy?
3-1 the Arabs United.
Oh, right, okay. That's a tough one for me. Dundee Derby. 2-1 Dundee United for me, John. Right, into the other teams that were in Europe, John. Midweek there, Aberdeen knocked out. I think it was about a gubbin, wasn't it? Was it 2 or 3-0? They got beat. They were down
3-0, Xander, eh?
Yeah. What do you think then? They play Falkirk at Pittodrie. John, Falkirk, decent wee team. What do you think, buddy?
Oh. Aberdeen's bottom of the league right now, and I think that'll stay. I'm going to go for a Falkirk win. 1-0 Falkirk. I know.
Aberdeen a very poor start to the season. Scottish Cup winners, Aberdeen, that is. I've got to say 1 each for me in that one. And finally, John, the last one to predict Hibs. Unlucky Hibs, obviously. It doesn't matter if you're out, in it. One of the cases, isn't it? But they were unlucky. Who are they playing? St Mirren, sorry, John. They're at home to St Mirren on Sunday. What do you think, buddy?
St Mirren a very tough team, isn't they?
Yeah.
Oh, it could be a close one. But I'm thinking 2-1 Hibs.
I'm going to go 2-1 St Mirren, John, actually. I think they're a very tough team. I think Hibs...
I was going to say that. I was going to say 2-1 St Mirren, but no, I'm going to stick with the home one.
Yeah, because they're a good team, Hibs, aren't they? They're playing well this season. All right, John, that's it. That's the predictor. That wraps it up. That actually wraps the podcast up for the day. Just short and sweet today. Just a wee 40-minute one. Folks, no comments. Got a couple of things to do today, so I need to be in a wee bit of a hurry. But, John, let's get a wee sum up for you, buddy, because it's a big weekend for us. As I said earlier, if we go the 9 points clear, I think it's over, actually, with the state that they're in over there. If we lose, we're still top of the league. It's not the end of the world because of St Mirren. So after last weekend, St Mirren drawn with Rangers. So thank you to St Mirren, giving us that wee bit of breathing space. But John, we need to do our own job here. We need to do our own thing. Get the job done. Get the 3 points over the line. 9 points clear with Rangers in a very bad state. That's what we're all looking for.
Oh, that would be lovely, aye. 9 points clear, but it's easier said than done, isn't it? I think Rangers are going to raise their game for this one. I think if Rangers lose this one, I think it's good night for Russell Martin. I think he's off ski if they lose this one. And I don't think the players are playing for him, so you might see the Rangers players get him out the door, get somebody better in. I'm not really sure, but I just don't think the Rangers players are playing for Russell Martin. So I don't know, but the fans could carry them over the line for a draw. That's what I think. I think it's going to be a draw, Xander. I hope I'm wrong. I hope Celtic get there and, like you said, 2-1, 3-1. That would be lovely, Xander. Take it. But we need to fight for it. Every player's going to have to fight. Maybe they should watch the rerun of the Bruges game before we play them.
Yeah, well, that's actually not a bad idea in all seriousness, because they have a very leaking defence, John. And as you say, fight. But what we don't want is the Celtic players having to fight to dodge bottles and lighters and vapes and all that kind of stuff, John, at Ibrox. As you said earlier, John, you think there's going to be incidents. I also think there's going to be incidents that we're going to be talking about come Monday morning, John, but we'll wait and see. Competition time, folks. Get your guesses in for the 25-player league. We've got John and Roseanne at the top there with 6 points, so everybody's got a bit of catching up to do, including myself. Get your guesses in, folks, for the competition. And if you're not in the league, get your guess in for the Glasgow derby anyway, Rangers versus Celtic. Get your guess in. Correct score guess, one guess each, into the comments, folks. Remember, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button as well, folks. That would be appreciated. And John, we'll catch you next time out on the post-match.
Okay, catch you later, Xander. Hail.
Thanks, John. Thanks for coming on, buddy. Take care, everybody. See you all later. Good luck, Celtic.